Will he talk about the Fed as much or as eloquently as my father? Maybe not, but he is supporting Audit the Fed, which is a big deal for myself and many of our supporters.
We also talked about internet freedom. Recently there was a bill called SOPA, which we think would have gotten rid of some of the freedom on the internet. Mitt Romney was right there with us on that. I also talked to him about foreign policy. I think he has a mature view of foreign policy, and I don't think he'll be rash or reckless. That's important to me also. I also talked to him about my beliefs that the legislature has an important role in foreign policy. The Constitution says the legislature should declare war, not the president. And we had good discussions on these, and I came away from it with the belief that he won't be reckless or careless with regards to war. I don't know.
Did you talk about the possibility of joining his ticket?
No, we didn't talk about that.
Would you consider it?
You know, I'd say what I've said before, that I think it would be an honor, and I think anybody who says they wouldn't be honored by it isn't being honest. I mean, a year and a half ago, I was a physician in a small town, and to be honored, it would be a great honor to be considered as a vice president for the Republican Party. I think that would be something that anybody who said otherwise would not be being truthful.
Mm-hmm. Listen, you people, and I've told you this before, a lot of people love your father. He has rabid supporters, a lot of young people as well. And in March, Time magazine quoted an advisor for your father saying, if you're talking about putting Rand on the ticket, and this is a quote, of course, that would be worth delivering our people to Romney. So the question is there a possible deal, some sort of deal going on here if you're on the ticket where your dad sent his supporters Romney's way?
No, no real secret deal. I always tell people if there's a secret deal, it's so secret that I don't know about it. But I would say that my dad's supporters are very, very independent. Many conservatives and libertarians are independent people, and I don't pretend to speak for them. They will have to make up their own mind. Some of them might be influenced to at least hear the governor out, listen to the areas of common interest. They're not going to agree with everything Governor Romney stands for.
Governor Romney stands for a lot of things that would be so much infinitely better than what we're getting from the current president. And so we don't always, there's lots of Republicans and we don't always get the nominee, that some people wanted. A lot of people wanted my dad. I still would like to have my dad, but I'm not going to get that. And so I look for areas of commonality with the nominee, and I think there are areas with Governor Romney that he would support issues that I care about.
Did Romney's health care plan in Massachusetts that has been compared to the president's plan, did that give you pause at all in your support of Mitt Romney, and did you discuss that with him?
We didn't discuss Obamacare because I think he's been pretty clear that he'd give all 50 states waivers. And it does seem to be that he takes a 10th Amendment position is that states are allowed to do things the federal government's not allowed. Now, had I been in Massachusetts, I probably would not have favored it.
But does the state have the right to do it? If the state constitution doesn't prohibit things like a mandate, the state could do something like that. Economically, I think it's a bad idea. As far as a freedom issue, I think it's a bad idea to take away freedom from people to buy the insurance they want to buy, when they want to buy it, for how much they want to buy it for. It takes away a marketplace, which takes away individual freedom. So I'm not a big fan of that, but I also understand that after he's seen the ramifications of it, seen the ramifications of a nationalized Obamacare plan, that I take him at his word, that he would give every state a waiver immediately, and that's what we need. It will be a disaster. I predict at least 20 million people will lose their private insurance if we get Obamacare.
So you did not support Romney Care, and this was an area that you compromised, talking about compromise, with Romney on. Not agreeing with Romney Care, but not enough for you not to endorse him.
Well, the thing is I agree completely with his position on Obamacare. Immediately give all 50 states waivers.
I'm talking about Romney Care here. I understand that. And that was, you made a great point.
I know, but I'm not in Massachusetts in 1996. Had I been there, I probably would not have supported, but I'm not going to relitigate 1996 in Massachusetts.
What I will say is for the federal government, which I am part of and have some influence, I will do everything I can to repeal Obamacare, and I think Governor Romney will be an ally in that. I'll give you a couple of examples where I do work with the other side on the issue of coming home from Afghanistan. I've suggested we come home sooner rather than later. I was one of 2 Republicans to write a letter with many Democrats, Senators Udall, Senators Merkley, Senators Wyden, to the President encouraging that we come home from Afghanistan. I worked with Wyden, Merkley, and Udall on SOPA to avoid this new government involvement in the internet. I've also worked with Senator Feinstein on pipeline regulation and safety. So there's several areas where I've worked with the other side on. And so I think it's wrong or mischaracterizes my position to say that I won't work with the other side. I don't think you have to compromise your principles, though. You find areas of agreement, and there are areas of agreement on both sides. Mandatory minimums, I've worked with the Black Caucus in the House. John Conyers and Bobby Scott I consider to be friends. Well, that's the answer to your question, though. Well, it is. And I'm telling you, mandatory minimums on drug crimes. I don't think teenagers accused of possession of drugs should get 20 years in prison. I've fought to get rid of this, and I've worked with the Black Caucus in the House. Those are areas where I've reached across the aisle to work with others to say yes. So I have taken the message my father has. My father has a very good relationship with John Conyers and Bobby Scott and several of those on the other side. And I've been over to the House and met with them. I've gone to their offices. And I am willing to work with the other side. But I don't consider that that's something I give up my principles. I think federal mandatory minimums for possession of small amounts of drugs are wrong and don't bring justice. And I think the justice would be better meted at a local level. So I think we already do work together on many issues. Yep. All right, thanks, John. Always a pleasure. Oh no, that was very genuine. And some
Rand
people
Paul
do
just
this
got done
in
with
person,
Don Lemon.
and then we'll have a really friendly,
CNN.
right? All right. Thank you.
My thanks to Senator Rand Paul.